Hello, good evening. It's time for the Business Live. Here's what's coming up. Ghana's institutions record improved customer service in 2020, moving up from grade C to C+. Also, we have government's total expenditure for last year rose by 31.5 billion cedis, that's 1.1%, to hit about 92.2 billion cedis due to COVID-19's impact. But that comes at a great cost to the economy, and we're going to be explaining to you the reasons why. Plus, the interbank payment and settlement systems record over 100% increase in the value in transactions across all platforms for last year. Hello, once again, you're welcome to the program. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome. Institutions in Ghana improved their customer service for clients for the year 2020 as against that of 2019, scoring a higher mark of 65%. Now, per the Customer Service Index by the Institute of Customer Service Excellence Ghana, the country moved up from a little above 62% to grade C to 65.55%, which is graded as C+. In that category, the hospitality industry, which is largely dominated by the hotel industry, tops as the most customer service-oriented institution. The public was called as the least customer service-oriented sector. Let's have more in this report. The more than 65% score, according to the Institute of Customer Service Professionals, is a marginal improvement by the country from the 2019 score, which was pegged at 62% with grade C. The 2020 customer service ranking focused on sectors of the economy including financial, hospitality, retail, transportation, and online businesses, among others. The hospitality sector tops as the sector with the best customer care service in Ghana for the year. Chief Executive of the Institute of Customer Service Professionals, Yvonne Ohi-McCarthy, explains.
People always talk about how hospitable we are as a country. And I get asked a lot that question, do you think we're a hospitable country? And I keep saying that I think it's just something we have gotten used to, and we are somehow believing that we are, but we really aren't. And our hospitality should even start from the airport. But then you walk in through and you know, the immigration officer, I'm not saying that all immigration officers are like that, but if we're being honest, most of them don't care where you've come from. All they care about, yes, next, and now there's even a camera. You're not told if you're going to be snapped or not. All you hear is, hey, hey. So it means just, you know, position your head and let's take the picture. So hospitality really should start from there. And I think those in the hospitality industry, only because the name of your sector should tell you how you should behave.
Even though the public sector recorded the lowest score, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, performed highest in that category.
Collectively, this is the kind of perception that we have. And this is the kind of perception we've built over the years, that we will come because we'll have to pay our taxes. Or we'll come because we need to make sure that our SNIT contributions are paid. Or that will come because we need authorization for, you know, our manufacturing companies and stuff like that. But how about you executing your job or doing it with some pleasure? Doing it because you realize even though I need you, you still wouldn't be there if I didn't need you. So for me, if we have any of the organizations here who are in the public sector, I think we should try, okay? I would like to, at SNIT, I think SNIT has been consistent in where they sit when it comes to the index. Unfortunately, your sector is pulling you back, but at least you can make a case for your organization that you did what you think you should have done and you placed first. So it might sound very tricky, being first of the last, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I think it's just your sector pulling you back. So again, this is how the ranking showed. SNIT first, DVLA second, Ghana Police Service third, and then it follows through like that.
Access Bank Ghana is also the best performing bank on the customer service rank for the financial sector. Well, government's total expenditure for last year rose by 31.5% to hit 92.2 billion cedis due to COVID-19. That's according to Fitch Solutions research arm of international ratings agency Fitch. Charles Nixon looks at the cost of spending on the economy.
huge increase in government spending as a result of the impact of COVID-19 on the economy expanded the financing gap by far. It is expected that the fiscal deficit ended the year by a little over 13% of gross domestic product, but that was as a result of COVID-19 spending, in which government provided stimulus package in the form of subsidies and direct support for local households. Government revenue for last year was less than 46 billion cedis, but the rising budget deficit, if not checked, could crowd out private sector borrowing, distort interest rates, among others. Fitch Solutions said fiscal restraint will be particularly pronounced in countries such as Ghana with high debt and where governments pass aggressive fiscal measures such as stimulus packages. However, a robust cyclical recovery in revenues will allow for slight fiscal or economic adjustment efforts in the country. Nevertheless, there will still be low spending growth of 6.2% this year. This will be significantly below the 2015 to 2020 average of 19.9%, suggesting that there will be very minimal spending on infrastructure such as roads and hospitals this year. Government spent about 11.2 billion cedis last year to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on the economy.
Now, the Ghana Interbank payment and settlement system witnessed significant growth across most of its platforms by value and transactions last year. Now, this was contained in its 2020 annual report, of which George Riafi brings us details.
The report showed that 77 million transactions were recorded in 2020 compared to 38 million in 2019. This represents a 103% jump over that of 2019. In terms of value, these platforms processed more than 250 billion Ghana cedis, representing another significant increase over the previous year. From the numbers, it was clear that the strong growth was influenced by most individuals' preference for real-time and remote payments like the GIFTS Instant Pay and the mobile money interoperability, which actually posted the highest transactional value due to last year's partial lockdown and COVID-19. When you look at the breakdown of the numbers further, you realize that when it came to mobile money interoperability, it went up by more than 300%. The Ghana Interbank payment and settlement system also attributed the surge in usage of these products to several educational programs over the years that actually sought to discourage the use of physical cash. For some, the 2020 market performance released by the Ghana Interbank payment and settlement system could give some credence to the fact that the country might be ready in terms of going cashless, possibly from next year.
Away from that, the Ghana Standards Authority has urged Ghana to present the best of its produce and infrastructure to benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to Director General Professor Alex Dodu, participating industries and businesses must ensure that they produce quality goods and services to enable them to take full advantage of the single market. He spoke to Joy Business.
The African Continental Free Trade Area is the best thing to happen to Ghana and Africa. However, if we do not put in place the necessary quality infrastructure, it will be the worst thing. Because you create a free and open market, unfortunately, it becomes an open market for trading in all sorts. So quality will drive that market. The earlier Ghana is seen as the place for quality goods, the better. Because every country will quickly learn that quality is what drives the market. And buyers in all parts of Africa will be looking for that mark, that sign, or that country of quality. Currently, as we sit, most Ghanaians, in a default way, accept that goods made in South Africa are good quality. It's accepted. Whereas goods made in some sister countries in West Africa are quote-unquote perceived not to be good quality. Ghana must be the place for quality. The Standards Authority, Food and Drugs, and other agencies require huge investments from the Republic to provide that quality infrastructure. And I repeat, it's not business as usual. The investments must be deliberate, and it must be to ensure that Ghanaian companies can compete. Because if these agencies are to make the money from IGF by charging industry cannot compete. So if these agencies are heavily funded, I'm talking $20, $30, $50 million a year over the next 5 years. That would ensure that industry can obtain quality services for free. Then they can compete and raise the money and the taxes to come back. It's a discussion, obviously, we'll have with our bosses, as in our various ministers, and all the way behind. But it's a national conversation as well, because quality is not cheap. Quality cannot be cheap. Quality is expensive. But if you forego quality, you die. Because one, you die economically, but you can also die physically. We are glad the quality of our medicines in Ghana are now good. And the quality of a lot of our products, water, made in Ghana, electrical cables, and the rest, are world class. But we don't need these few. We need everything to speak to that quality agenda.
You're still watching Business Live. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back. Just stay. And welcome back to the program. Poultry farmers are recommending the creation of a board to regulate the pricing of eggs. According to the Ghana Poultry Farmers Association, this would set a standard on the pricing of eggs, which will consequently be a win-win for both farmers and consumers. Michael Nyako Ampem is the president of the association, and he spoke to Insurado on Talking Business on JoyNews Prime.
Yo, I found some nectar. DJ Honey, drop it.
We start off with showing 3 ways you can detect honey is fake. If it has no pollen grains at the top, if it does not crystallize under cold conditions, and then if it has no flavor. That is what Emma and I learned.
2 things I can immediately say, or 3. If we can guarantee the raw materials for the feed millers, say, we have an institution at Buffer Stock. If Buffer Stock can say, come into an agreement with the feed millers and say, we are buying or selling maize to you and soya to you at X amount, then nobody has the reason to needlessly increase their prices, because they will take the maize off the farmers, and then we will have constant supply. So our business will just be growing the best and milling the feed. The next thing is that if somehow we can have a board that, like the cocoa board does, we have excises, and the excises would influence the price. So the kind of board determines that grade A egg, this is a price that we are giving it for. And then the grade C price, this is what we are proposing. So that the consumers also have a fair idea how much or the range of prices. So that when farmers want to take undue advantage, then the consumers can also speak up. Because we need the protein for the people to grow.
Right. You said 3 things. Is there a third one?
Okay, the third one is a commodity exchange. I think the commodity exchange should be strengthened so that we can all go there, purchase our raw materials, and it will be available. So buffer stock, commodity stock exchange, if those 2 are strengthened, I think that will be good to go.
That's Michael Nyako Ampem, the president of the Ghana Poultry Farmers Association there. Well, Ghana's honey production potential stands at 500,000 tons a year, and the nation could rake in about 1.2 billion cedis. Yet, we produce less than 5,000 metric tons a year, of which Odelia Ntiamoa and Emma Davis chronicle the potential of honey and its numerous benefits to the Ghanaian economy. Take a listen.
Yo, I found some nectar. DJ Honey, drop it.
We start off with showing 3 ways you can detect honey is fake. If it has no pollen grains at the top, if it does not crystallize under cold conditions, and then if it has no flavor. That is what Emma and I learned as Patrick Ado-Newman explains apiculture, why the queen bee has a longer lifespan, and the use of honey.
The royal jelly that the queen feeds on From the day the queen is laid to the day she dies, she feeds on royal jelly. And so that prolongs the life of the queen. In fact, the queen is able to stay between 6 to 7 years, while the ordinary bee stays between 3 to 4 months.
What do you use the wax for?
We use it for so many things. At least with this facility, we use them for candles. In fact, we have candles that when you light, it will fragrance the room to repel mosquito. And then we use them for hair cream. Myself, I've never put on dye. I'll be 59 years this year. There's no gray. And it's my cream. Stimulate the hair to grow and retard the gray growth.
While these benefits exist, he is worried Ghana currently has a demand of 150 metric tons, which it can never meet.
Kasaprekun was taking 15 tons every month from this facility.
Wow, 15 tons.
15 tons. We supplied twice.
And couldn't do it again.
We couldn't do it again.
Emma Davis takes us to Busy Bee, where General Manager of Operations Asiome Kwameche Adeboy lays the blame at the doorstep of the Ghana Standards Authority.
With the international side, it's 14 to 21% moisture. And then they have 0 or 1% to 9% sucrose. But it's in grades, like I said. But in Ghana, ours is 5. So what we are doing is that with the international standardization, we meet halfway. Because if even Standards Authority is saying that moisture should be 23%, if you are getting 23% moisture in honey, it means that you are getting about 10 to 11% sucrose. So if Ghana Standards Authority or if our standards could be raised just a little, because honey with about 7%, 8%, 9% sucrose is still good to consume.
While the demand is there, government agencies are confused about whose responsibility it is to register exporters.
Okay, so we do have standards, and the Standards Act, the Act 173 of 1973, specifically requests for trade purposes that goods meant for export, it's the responsibility of the Standards Authority to ensure that they meet the requirements of the importing country, because it's a business. Practically speaking, several agencies get involved. There are areas where the Food and Drugs Authority will be required to do a huge amount of the work. For the European Union in particular, they designate competent authorities. So for fish and fish products, it's the GSA. For honey, it's a bit in doubt, but seems to straddle between the Veterinary Services Department or PPRSD, or an architecture within the Ministry of Food, the Ministry of Agri. I think what the dilemma has been is having state agencies talking to each other to ensure that the needs of the exporting public are met.
Till this is done, Ghana will lose several billions for not meeting honey demand. That is it for Food Chain.
Well, that was Food Chain there by Odelia and Tiamwa. With a second wave of the coronavirus getting more deadly, businesses are getting creative and innovative with tailor-made products and services that best serve the purpose of stopping the spread of the virus. Of course, in this edition, we engaged 3 innovative minds, including the curator of the popular Veronica Bucket, as well as a pastor-turned-engineer. Here's more.
Since Ghana recorded its first case of COVID-19 in February, the burden for impact solutions to a new way of life has been so heavy. Washing of hands with soap under running water has been the new normal. This public health directive resurrected the name Veronica Bucket. Unique buckets with faucets spotted at vantage points along streets and highways. I sat with the curator of this invention, Veronica Bucket.
I did this over almost 30 years ago. It's been on the quiet with the advent of COVID-19. You know the story. The idea was to make this, to provide running water from simple material, just a container fitted with a faucet. With advent of COVID-19, what has happened? people have come out with innovations.
As economies world over restrict air travels amid closed on science and technology,
too much
to create a hand washing machine for the times.
As I was praying one of these days and before the COVID and during the COVID, then I had the inspiration of the hand wash machine with being a free hands. And so with that hands, using the paddle to paddle it and operating the valves of the soap and the sanitizer and then the tap. And so we have to devise a means that will be firmly rooted to the tap family, and so that you can operate it and then have it on the sanitizer and the soap, so that when it operates, you will not have your hands and then you will not get this having spoiled within a short time, but it takes a long time to have it repaired. And so that's basically the whole thing about. And so as you can see behind me, they are working on it, and then we have this is Timber Market. This place is more like a Kumasi magazine. And so basically what they do here is they have all sort of engine works, all sort of machines. And so this is a machinery setup. And Mr. Kwanzaa is my engineer. He's working on the hand wash machine. And so Royal Wood Hand Wash is what we have here.
But he couldn't do this alone. He needed Joseph, a metal fabricator, who brought his idea to reality.
I've been here for 25 good years in machinist, engineering, fabrication. Since I've got one friend, Mr. Godfred Calip, came here to introduce something to me that can we do it? I said, no, it's a small problem. He said, okay, let's start. So I and my boys started doing something about it. So in fact, we've gone so far to this stage. We see that everything is going on smoothly. So we are on it, completing it. This is the first time I'm getting into the machinist, because mostly I'm in a machinist. So once he brought this, I said, no, I can do it. So let him try so that we can do to help.
That's how we end this edition of Business Live. I'm Charles Aite. For me and the rest of the team, many thanks for watching.